welcome to chemistry class. Here we are with the next part of the chapter number 9. We had discussed the laboratory preparation of carbon dioxide in the previous video. Let us continue the topic. Here we will move to the properties of carbon dioxide. Before the properties, one more point is given here. Does the action of HCl on marble chips gives pure CO2? The answer is no. Question there was, if we are reacting HCl and marble chips, is pure carbon dioxide produced? Answer is directly no, because the gas is contaminated with HCl and it get volatilized. That is, HCl vapors also will come from the carbon dioxide gas in the carbon dioxide gas that is being produced, and we can free this gas from HCl vapors by passing this particular gas which is being produced here in another container which is having a small amount of water before collecting. So this impure CO2, when it is passed through a small amount of water, what will happen? This water will dissolve that acid, and then we can get the pure carbon dioxide in another gas cylinder. We can collect it. So water will dissolve and the extra impurities, and then we can get pure particular we can make the CO2 free of the HCl gas. Vapors can be freed there. So that is all about the lab preparation. That is over. One more thing is it can be asked in exam, how we can test that carbon dioxide is collected in this gas cylinder. So we will do what? Take a lighted matchstick to test that the jar that is used in the lab preparation, it is filled or not, because CO2 is not visible, it is not colored gas, it is colorless, therefore we cannot see it. So to identify that the gas jar is complete or not, it is filled or not, we'll take a lighted matchstick and bring near the mouth of this particular cylinder. If the flame get extinguished, if the matchstick stops burning, that means CO2 gas is filled in the jar. Because CO2 gas is a non-supporter of combustion, it turns the fire off. Fire will be extinguished if it is coming in close contact with the matchstick which is lighted. So that is the simple test. If matchstick is not extinguishing, it means gas jar is not completely filled. If it extinguishes, then it has been completely filled, and CO2 gas is not allowing the lighted matchstick to continue. It will be extinguished on its contact with the carbon dioxide. Let us come to the physical properties of CO2 now. The CO2 gas is a colorless, odorless gas, and it is heavier than air. That is 1.67 times heavier than air. Point number second, that is at 1 atmospheric pressure, this gas is solidifying at the temperature minus 78.5. And at this temperature, this solid which we are getting of this gas, it is called as dry ice. It sublimes at this temperature, that is at minus 78.5 degrees Celsius. Dry ice will directly convert into gas. That is looking like the white fumes only. This is a particular gas which sublimes at minus 78.5. It becomes solid, otherwise it is a gas only. Next is point number third, that is under ordinary condition, this particular gas will dissolve in water. CO2 gas is soluble in water, and at high pressure the gas is highly soluble in water, and that is what is done when the cold drink is being made. At high pressure only CO2 gas is dissolved in water. So this is written here, this property is used in making soda water or fizzy drink. Fizzy means cold. Cold drinks are made by this method only. And these CO2 bubbles which are dissolved there, the bubbles will be visible there. When you open the cold drink or soda bottle, then bubbles are released there. These bubbles are of carbon dioxide gas only. They are coming out of that solution. Next is chemical properties of carbon dioxide gas. First property is combustion. Combustion is not being supported by CO2. So CO2 is neither combustible nor a supporter of combustion. This gas cannot burn. Also, it cannot allow anything else to burn. If somewhere fire has taken place and you put CO2 gas there, if you bring CO2 gas in that place, then that fire will turn off. Fire will be extinguished. So that is why it is a great help in extinguishing the fire. And the fire extinguishers that the fire brigade people are using, so that firemen are using the CO2 gas only. In the fire extinguisher, the reaction will take place to produce CO2 gas. We are about to learn how this fire extinguisher works also. So we have an activity. First of all, we have to take a spoon of baking powder in a glass A and take some vinegar to it. When baking powder is what? Baking powder is NaHCO3, sodium bicarbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, and vinegar is acid, that is acetic acid, CH3COOH. That formula is not required. So when we react this baking powder with vinegar, what will happen? Due to the reaction, CO2 gas will produce with effervescence. Effervescence means bubbles will appear there with a hissing sound. So CO2 gas will produce, no problem. Let it continue. Let the effervescence subside. Means let the bubbles go off. When the bubbles are not forming now, then we will continue now. Hold the glass A almost horizontally above the glass B, while taking care that no liquid flows from A to B. How to do so? We have to do in this manner. We have taken the reaction. In the reaction, what will produce? CO2 will produce. Okay, we have waited for some time and CO2 is still in this particular glass only. And then we have to take this glass and we have to keep it horizontally above another glass, that is B glass. And in the B glass, we have something. Let us read there what is there. Now hold the B glass in a pouring mode over a lighted candle kept in a bowl. The flame is extinguished. So in the B glass, a candle is there and this candle is burning, and we are pouring which gas over this? We are putting CO2 gas. This gas will move into the gas CO2 gas from A glass A will from that glass CO2 gas will go into the glass B, and as a result of the contact with the candle that is burning, CO2 will do what? CO2 will do its work, that is, it will extinguish the fire. And that is only what has happened in this case also. In this activity, this candle will stop burning, the fire will be extinguished. So this is, here you can see this the flame is extinguished because CO2 gas we have poured there, and CO2 does not support fire. So CO2 gas is heavier than air and it can be poured from one glass to another and the flame get extinguished. So by this activity we have proved that CO2 is a non-supporter of combustion. Also one more thing we have proved here, that CO2 is heavier than air. If it is lighter than air, then it will not collect in the glass, it will move out of the glass. Why it is not going outside? Because it is heavier than air. Air is having less density as compared to CO2. Next, now point number second, reaction with active metal. The more active metal like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, all of these abstract oxygen from the CO2, setting carbon free when burned in the gas. So if you take any of these metals and burn them in the presence of carbon dioxide, what will happen? The carbon dioxide will convert into carbon and metal will convert into metal oxide. So this is only what they have told here. This experiment you can read through. The equation I have told you only. We have to take a magnesium ribbon, and this is the magnesium ribbon. It is made up of magnesium metal, and we have to burn it in the carbon dioxide jar. This cylinder is filled with carbon dioxide gas that is there. The metal is this particular ribbon and it is burning. When it is burning, this carbon dioxide will convert into what? Carbon dioxide converts into carbon and magnesium converts into magnesium oxide. It is that is a redox reaction only. Reduction and oxidation only is happening. Point number third, action on the litmus paper. Litmus paper, two types are there, red and the blue ones. So here the aqueous solution of the gas is acidic, weakly acidic, and it will turn the blue litmus paper into wine red. Remember always, it turns the red paper into blue or blue into red. Red into blue, answer will be wrong if it is asked in the true and false. So don't confuse there. Always remember, this particular gas, carbon dioxide, converts the blue litmus paper into red color, and red also which type? Wine red. That is, it is highly acidic. So this highly acidic gas can be tested by using this moist blue litmus paper in the gas. Also, this aqueous solution of the CO2 contains acid. Why this acidic gas? Why this gas is called as acidic? Because if you put CO2 in water, it is producing an acid called as carbonic acid, which is only what we call what we are calling as soda water or cold drink. Cold drink is nothing else but acid only, that is carbonic acid. Now we will move to the point number 4, reaction with metal oxides. The metal oxides, they are basic in nature and CO2 gas is acidic. So when acid and base are reacting with each other, what will happen? Acid plus base, the reaction will produce always and always salt will produce. So here also you see here, this all these are Na2O, MgO, CaO, Na, Mg, Ca, all these are metal with oxygen. So whenever you see any metal oxide, any of the metal oxide, you are seeing it is always and always basic in nature. So this side of the reaction is a base that is present. Another thing that is here, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is having a non-metal. You can see here carbon is a non-metal, because carbon is a non-metal and non-metal is having an oxide CO2. So it is a non-metal oxide. All the non-metal oxide are acid. All they are acidic in nature. Metal oxide basic, non-metal oxide acidic in nature. So as a result of this, what is happening in this reaction here right now is this part CO2. This is a acid. So acid and base both are reacting. What is producing finally is a salt. All these are salts only. Na2CO3, MgCO3, CaCO3. That is just adding of the oxygen only. Here one oxygen, here two oxygen. The total is 3 oxygen. Here you can see 3 oxygen are written. Remaining thing is same. Nothing else has changed. Na2CO3. Here again Mg, C, then O. Total you can see 3. Then calcium, Ca, then C, then O3. You can add oxygen. So that is how these carbonates are forming. Point number 5, reaction property is given here. That is fifth one. So whenever we are reacting with lime water is what? It is a solution, dilute solution of calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide formula is CaOH whole twice. So CaOH whole twice, calcium hydroxide is nothing else but called as lime water. And whenever we react lime water with carbon dioxide, then we will get another compound that will turn this lime water into white colored solution, that is called as milky white solution. Lime water, which is transparent like water only, it is not having any color, it is colorless liquid, but when it is passed with CO2 gas, when CO2 is passed through the lime water, then this clear colorless liquid will turn into a milky solution. Why it is happening milky solution? Why the milky solution is forming here? Let us now understand this reaction. So the clear lime water turns milky when CO2 is passed through it. What is the reason? The reason is given here. This is because the insoluble white substance calcium carbonate is forming. This equation you have to learn for the exam. It can be asked. Question is just that lime water turns milky when CO2 is passed. What is the reason? Reason is simple, that this calcium carbon and this calcium hydroxide will convert into calcium carbonate, and calcium carbonate is of what color? It is of white color, and because of this white colored compound that is forming, we are able to see a white colored solution. This is what we call as milky solution. So milky solution is of calcium carbonate only. If we have to disappear this thing, if we don't want this color, then what we will do? We will take this CO2 and pass in excess. The milkiness will disappear when excess of CO2 is passed through the liquid. Why is it happening? Because if we are taking more CO2 if we are putting more CO2 in calcium carbonate, then we will get another compound that is called as calcium hydrogen carbonate. Calcium hydrogen carbonate, and this is soluble. If excess of CO2 is passed through the liquid, then soluble colorless compound calcium hydrogen is formed. Focus on this word soluble. It is soluble means this calcium carbonate will dissolve in the water that is present in the test tube, in the solution, and because it is soluble, we will not see any color. So again, the milkiness which was coming because of the CO2 gas, this will disappear because of extra CO2 gas. If you wanted again now, third point, the milkiness reappears. One time here it has appeared in the first point, second point it has disappeared, third point it is reappearing, second time it will appear if the solution is boiled. If this solution only, this is solution of calcium hydrogen carbonate, if you are keeping on boiling, then what will happen? This milkiness will start appearing again. The clear solution of calcium hydrogen carbonate. This calcium hydrogen carbonate is clear solution. It is soluble. But if you are boiling it, then what will happen? This calcium hydrogen carbonate, it will decompose, it will break down into small substances, and what will form there again is carbonate, that is calcium carbonate, CaCO3 will form again. See, in this reaction it's given here. So this is calcium hydrogen carbonate, this is calcium hydrogen carbonate. From this calcium hydrogen carbonate, what we are getting? We are getting calcium carbonate. So that is how it is again white in color, and white colored milky solution will appear again. So this is all about this. Chemical properties are complete. We will now see the topic carbon dioxide and environment. So CO2 is present in the air, about 0.03% CO2 is in the natural air, but this varies, and these days we are facing the issue of global warming also because of this extra CO2 that is collecting in the atmosphere. Let us learn some details of this topic. So CO2 is essential for life, but in the high concentration, if it is more if it is in more quantity in the atmosphere, then it is of great concern. It is a big problem for us. So how to balance it and all that we will see. First is photosynthesis. The green plants are using CO2 gas for photosynthesis, and by photosynthesis plants are preparing or manufacturing their food, that is glucose, in this process. So this is how we can say that CO2 gas is very important gas for the plant life, and plants are very important for the animals and the human beings. So ultimately CO2 is one of the very important gas, although it is causing some problems by like global warming and all, but still it is a life sustaining gas. If CO2 is not there, then plants will die, and if plants will die, then animals and human beings will also die. So ultimately CO2 is very important. Let us understand this greenhouse effect. What is a greenhouse? Greenhouse is actually a glass house, a house made of glass walls on all sides. Inside this glass house, what is happening? We can grow plants. It is done in the polar regions, near the North Pole, especially in the countries, the Scandinavian countries. You'll read about this in geography, like Norway, Denmark, like this. Many countries are there in the Arctic region. There the temperature is very low. So to maintain a suitable temperature for growing the plants and vegetables and all, they are having the glass house. The glass house is having the walls made of glass, and during the daytime what will happen? The sun rays will enter this glass house and it will keep the plants warm. You can observe this a simple thing. If you keep your car locked and the glass the windows and all are closed, after some time, if you keep that in the sunlight, after some time if you enter that car, you will feel very hot. Why it is happening? Because one time that the solar energy has entered, the sun energy has entered your car, it is not getting any space to go outside. The glass will not allow that heat to move outside. So as a result, the temperature inside the car is warmer as compared to outside. Same thing happens in a glass house also. The sun rays will enter the glass walls one time. This is a diagram, just illustration of the glass house. So sun rays will enter here. They will easily enter here, but they cannot move outside. So as a result, temperature inside the glass house will be more as compared to outside. And in the Arctic region, you already know it is very cold. And in cold areas, it is almost impossible to grow crops and all. So glass house is a nice concept to do the same. They can increase the temperature, and in this warm area crops can be easily grown. So this is all about the concept of the glass house. The same concept is being repeated in the form of global warming on our planet Earth. Now on our planet Earth, what is there? On our planet Earth is surrounded by a layer of atmosphere. Our planet Earth is surrounded by a layer of gases called as atmosphere. Now, if pollutant gases are there, if different pollutant gases I am showing with green color, these are the pollutant gases that have collected here in the upper layer of the atmosphere. Normally, what is happening? Normally, the sunlight will enter, the sun radiation will enter, and some part of that will move outside. But because of this layer of gases that has deposited, these rays are not able to go outside. They are again bouncing back on the earth. The sun energy is just collecting in the atmosphere. It is not releasing outside in the outer space. So that is leading to increase in the average mean temperature of the planet Earth, leading to various calamities, and all the various problems related to global warming are a result of this. So this is all the concept I have explained. So which gas is responsible for this is called as greenhouse gas. Let us read the definition. The gas that traps heat in the environment and keeps the surrounding warm, it is called as a greenhouse gas, and the effect of this gas is called as the greenhouse effect. CO2 is one of the greenhouse gases, and many more gases are there like methane, fluorocarbons, and all. They are called as the greenhouse gases. From which fluorocarbons are coming, they are the coolants in the fridges and air conditioners. They are producing this. If you are using more AC and furniture, air conditioner and other things like refrigerator and all, then it will lead to more pollution in the form of CFCs. Shortly, they are called as CFCs, or full form is chlorofluorocarbons. Methane gas is also produced by the cattle dung. So these are all different kind of the greenhouse gases. So this is leading to global warming. So what will happen if concentration of CO2 increases in the environment? The question is, what is the problem then if temperature is increasing or if CO2 is more? So first point I already told, average temperature will increase, and if the temperature will increase, the polar ice caps, the glaciers and all, they will melt. If the ice is melting on the earth, then sea level will rise. Sea level will rise, and it will lead to the submerging of several island nations, island cities and all, and coastal cities will be submerged in water. The major cities of the world are generally situated near the coastal areas. In our country, like Mumbai, Chennai, these are the major metropolitan cities. They will be submerged in the ocean water. If they are at the risk in the coming years, if we don't control global warming, many of the countries, many of the nations like Maldives is one of the example of such case. It will be a history only. It will not exist. It will be a history. It will be submerged in the ocean water. Many cities will be drowned. So this will also lead to drastic climatic changes. We are facing that these days. We are having extreme winters, extreme summers, and extreme rainfall also. We are facing flash floods. Suddenly a lot of rain happens. Earlier it was not so. So all these climatic changes are a result of the global warming. So all this will happen due to the rise in the average temperature due to the global warming. So how we can control it, how to tackle it? So first important thing is afforestation. You have to control the cutting of the trees, and in fact we have to motivate people to grow more and more trees. We ourselves should plant and grow more and more trees. That is afforestation. It can bring down the dangers of global warming, because the more the number of the plants, the more CO2 will be absorbed from the atmosphere, and it will lead to a reduction in the global warming, and we can save the humankind from the risk, the potential risk of the global warming. But the opposite activity, that is today's, it is not, forestation is not happening. Deforestation is still on the increase due to increased population. Forests are being regularly cut because of the more population that is ever increasing in today's world. Also industrialization is happening, more and more industries are opening. So as a result, pollution, the proportion of CO2 also has increased. So that is all about this particular topic. We have completed the topic related to CO2 and the environment. Next we will see the action of the natural water. That is the one of the properties of CO2 gas only. So natural water is slightly acidic to slightly alkaline. What is the pH given here? 6.5 to 8.5. Normal neutral pH is 7. So it is just close to 7 only. 6.5 to 8.5, nearly slightly acidic, slightly alkaline. So this is what is called as pH. pH is what? It is a measurement of the acidic or basic, and basic means alkaline nature of a given solution. And we can measure this pH using a pH meter or a pH paper. If the pH is neutral, then the value is what? It is 7.0. If the neutral means neither the substance is acidic nor it is alkaline. If the substance is acidic, then it is having pH less than 7. If the substance is alkaline or basic, it is having pH more than 7. In the case of normal water, it is 6.5 to 8.5. Neither more acidic nor it is more basic also. So on dissolving in water, what will happen with the CO2? CO2 will form a weak acid, that is H2CO3, and this gas will tend to bring down the pH of the water that is open to the atmosphere. So because on mixing with CO2 we are getting an acid, so ultimately what will happen, the pH of the water will fall down. Whenever you mix water with CO2 gas, the pH of the water, which is around 6.5, it will fall down because acid is produced here. Which acid is produced? H2CO3 is produced. And for the drinking purpose, slightly acidic water is always and always better. 6.5 pH is one of the best form of the water to drink. So this is always you have to remember, acidic water is better than alkaline water. This is soft water, also it is palatable. Palatable means it is not having an improper taste, that is palatable. But the alkaline water, it is hard and unpalatable. In Hindi it is called as khara pani, that is alkaline water. It is hard water and it is not having a proper taste also. So also the pH inside our digestive system is also acidic. Our stomach also has HCl for the digestion purpose. You will see the details in biology when you study the digestive system, because the digestive system is also acidic, so that is why acidic water is better. On the other hand, the marine organisms, the animals which are in the sea water, ocean water, they thrive better in the alkaline water. They can have a better life if water is alkaline. That is why sea water or the ocean water, the sea and the ocean water, what is there? Salt is there. They contain salt, and because of the salt that is present in the water, that is that leads the water to become basic in nature, and hence all the marine animals, the animals in the sea water or the ocean water, they can have a better life. So if acidic water is there, if you put acid in the sea water, then it is a risk to the animals, the fishes and all which are living in the aquatic region. The aquatic animals are at a risk, so that you have to remember. I will read it one time. It has been found that the increasing proportion of dissolved CO2 is lowering the pH of the seawater due to the more industrialization, and the pollutants are directly thrown into the seawater through the rivers also. Rivers go into the sea and ocean, so through the rivers also these pollutants reach the ocean and the sea water. It is leading to increase in the acidic nature of the sea and the ocean water, and hence this is posing a threat or a risk to the marine life. They are at a risk. So now we'll see the uses. First use of CO2 is in the manufacturing industry. First off, manufacturing of metal carbonate and hydrogen carbonate, like these chemicals: Na2CO3 soda ash, Na2CO3 10H2 washing soda, K2CO3 potassium carbonate, baking soda like NaSCO3. All these are chemicals only. So all these chemicals are manufactured using CO2 gas. Another chemical, that is a fertilizer also, it is urea, CONH2 whole twice, CONH2 whole twice, that is also prepared by using carbon dioxide. The formula is CO. On one side NH2, another side also NH2. NH2, CO, NH2. Otherwise you can learn this CONH2 whole twice. Another thing important is ethanol, C2H5OH. It is also manufactured by using CO2. In our class today also, in the previous video, not today, in the previous video we have seen fermentation reaction where CO2 is used to produce ethanol. By the sugar industry it is done. Next is in the fire extinguisher also CO2 gas is there. It is also used for making soda water and the fizzy drink carbonic acid, that is CO2 plus water gas H2CO3. So that is what is called as carbonic acid or fizzy drink. So that is all we have seen. The different points. Come to the point number 4. In the welding of the metals also CO2 is used to prevent the oxidation of the metal by the air. So in welding, for proper welding, also CO2 gas is used there. Next, in the formation of the dry ice, CO2 is used as a coolant or depicting smoke in the plays, movies and so on. Different movies on television you would have seen, on the stage shows especially. When the stage show is being performed and on the stage you can see white color smoke is there. So that white color smoke is nothing, they are not burning anything, that is CO2 only, and it is dry ice, it is solid CO2. So it is just to show the smoke in the play, in the movies, in the TV shows. Now let us have a topic, that is how a fire extinguisher works. Just now we have seen the uses of the CO2. One of the uses in the extinguishing of fire, it is based on the property of CO2 gas, that it is a non-supporter of combustion. So let us see here in the sodium carbonate solution, acid is reacting. In the fire extinguisher, two chemicals are used. Sodium carbonate, that is Na2CO3. It reacts with acid, that is H2SO4. Both the chemicals are separately kept. Whenever you turn this on, this H2SO4 nozzle will break down and all this acid will fall down in the sodium carbonate solution, and as a result both the chemicals will mix together and they will produce carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas will start will come out through this nozzle, and then you can point this nozzle toward the place where fire has taken place, and CO2 gas, being a non-supporter of combustion, will extinguish the fire. It will turn off all the fire which has taken place. So this is the reaction between the Na2CO3 and H2SO4 producing CO2 gas. Na2SO4 is another chemical, and H2O already it is present there. So that is all. It can also have, in place of sodium carbonate, it can also have sodium hydrogen carbonate, NaHCO3. There also nothing, no problem will be there. This sodium sulfate will not come out of the cylinder, it remains inside only. Two things only will come outside. One is water vapor. This is not water, this is water vapor, and another thing will be carbon dioxide. So that is all. So let us read here. A sealed bottle containing sulfuric acid is present in the cylinder, and sodium carbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate, any one chemical will be placed in the fire extinguisher. Main thing is sodium carbonate, and acid is put in a small bottle. So in case of the fire, what will happen? The acid bottle is broken by striking the plunger against a hard surface. Here you see in the diagram, at the top of this there is a plunger. When we have to open this cylinder, you have to break this seal open. As you break this plunger, what will happen? The acid will start coming out of the bottle, and it will react with with the sodium carbonate. So here we read, the acid react with sodium carbonate or sodium hydrogen carbonate, and carbon dioxide will produce. As the result of the reaction, the mixture of water and CO2 gas, they gush out, and it is directed towards the burning object. And because carbon dioxide is what? It is being heavier than air, it surrounds the burning object and cut off the supply of the air. CO2 gas is heavier than air. It will push the air away from that particular object which is burning, and it will stop the contact. It will prevent the contact of the burning object and oxygen gas. Oxygen gas, if it is available, fire will take place. What we have to do? The concept is just to separate oxygen of the air to come in contact with the burning object. Whatever is burning, it should not come in contact with oxygen. For that, we will put carbon dioxide gas there between the burning object and the particular air that is in the room. So that is all. Carbon dioxide cuts off the supply of the air. As a result, fire is put off. So I hope that all this is clear to you. We'll move to the next part, carbon monoxide, in the upcoming video. Thank you for now.